Hello, I am Mario8th and welcome to Super Mario Bros. In Review, the show where I will be reviewing all 18 Super Mario Bros. Platformers and ranking them to find the ultimate Super Mario Bros. Game. You can find all the previous and future videos in the playlist linked in the description, but first, this week we will be visiting New Super Mario Bros. Wii, the first sequel to New Super Mario Bros. First released in November of 2009 in the US, the EU, and Australia, and a month later came out in Japan. And without bringing in any revisionist history just yet, Mario Bros. Wii was initially highly praised. Most people seem to just want more traditional Mario, myself included, and that's mostly what it delivered. Of course, the biggest twist this time around was now up to 4 people would be able to play at the same time. Apparently, Miyamoto wanted to do something to this effect way back when launching both the original Super Mario Bros. And again with Mario 64. But the processing power just wasn't there until the Wii. Miyamoto himself didn't actually direct the game, instead acting as a relatively hands-on producer, giving the director's notes for what he wanted. The soundtrack was similarly not done by Koji Kondo, with only his original songs being reworked by the other 2 composers. I can't recall exactly when, but I'm sure I was high on the game when I first played it, sometime in the year or so after release. But even back then, I didn't actually play this game with anyone else, instead treating it as a single-player experience. I did this again a few years ago and with my most recent playthrough. I say all this because from what I can tell, the game is actually quite different if played with others, and I've just never had that experience. But first, the story. It's, well, laughable. I'd argue there's even less story in this one than in the original Super Mario Bros., but nevertheless, it's Princess Peach's birthday. A large cake is delivered, but it turns out to be the 7 Koopalings and Bowser Jr. in disguise. They capture Peach, and Mario, Luigi, and 2 Toads chase after them. They beat each of the Koopalings, oftentimes aided by Kamek, defeat Bowser, and fly off in balloons after rescuing Peach. Yeah, sure. Whatever. As for the gameplay, it is pretty close to the first New Super Mario Bros., but this time with the potential of up to 4 players. There are 9 worlds in this one, with one being a special world unlocked at the end of the game. The player navigates a map much like its predecessor, defeating levels, boo houses, fortresses, and castles along the way. Every stage has 3 different star coins to collect and are either hidden in various places or require slightly harder platforming to reach. Each fortress, Mario fights a Koopaling. In the castle, Mario fights them again, but they get powered up by Kamek. And 3 places throughout the game, Bowser Jr. has to be fought in his airship. I think this is also the game that officially canonized that Bowser Jr. is Bowser's one and only son, with the Koopalings just being young contractors? Adoptees? At the very least, they're not blood related. So breaking that down, let's talk about the actual stages. They are, for the most part, pretty good. I had a good time navigating each level, finding each coin, and reaching the flagpole at the end. But there are 2 things that kinda suck with this. There are almost no levels that actually stuck with me afterwards. Sure, a lot of them were fun, but they were also so derivative from previous Mario games that nothing felt actually new. There are only 2 standouts I can ever remember from this game. One really fun roller coaster type level in World 8, and an infamously hard ice level in World 9. And despite not being too memorable, World 9 does have some great levels. They all ramped up the difficulty in really fun ways and made for my favorite set of levels easily. But having the rest of the levels be kinda bland, albeit fun in the moment, is not great. The second thing that kinda sucks is that when levels are bad, they are bad. My least favorite levels by far were any that played with darkness. Some levels make the entire world dark and only light sources or fireballs would illuminate anything else. I hated these. In platformers, I want hard platforming. I don't want difficulty by obfuscating the actual level. Super frustrating every time, especially the dark level that was underwater. I also did not like any of the motion-controlled levels. Well, all but one at least. Given this is a Wii game, the Wiimote had to be used in some way. In this case, sometimes the first player to jump on a platform would be able to control it, usually by rocking the Wiimote back and forth. These levels all wind up being too long, usually auto-scrolly, and annoying to play again if Mario missed anything. Except for one where the motion controls actually just toggled to move the platforms to the left or right. That one was cool. But aside from the design point of view, the game plays just as unmemorable. Everything is the same as its predecessor. Run, jump, triple jump, wall jump. But again, given this is a Wii game, shaking the Wiimote lets the players spin. If they are on the ground, they do a spin jump. In the air, spinning gives them a slight aerial boost in the sense that the player stays at the same elevation for just a moment longer. Now, I actually really like both of these moves, but requiring to shake the controller does not feel good. Which is wild because I am a big proponent of shaking to spin in Mario Galaxy, but shaking while holding the controller horizontal just makes it feel all wrong. In later games, this is mapped to a shoulder button like in Mario Maker, and it feels so much better. Of course, I understand how they got there are only so many inputs on a Wiimote, but that doesn't make it feel great either. As far as items go, 3 have been added. The Mushroom, Fire Flower, and Mini Mushroom are back, and luckily the Mini Mushroom is only used for getting more coins. But the Mega Mushroom has been lost, most likely due to the multiplayer ramifications of it. As for the new items, the Ice Flower from Galaxy has been adapted to 2D, shooting a ball similar to the Fire Flower, except enemies are frozen into grabbable blocks when hit. The 2 original items are the Propeller Mushroom and the Penguin Suit. When using the Propeller Suit, shaking the controller shoots Mario into the air. I don't like it much. I mean, it's always really useful to have, but I prefer having my extra spin just give me more lateral movement. Plus, descending in the propeller suit takes forever. The Penguin Suit acts similar to the Ice Flower in that it shoots ice balls, but after running a bit, Mario can also slide like a penguin, which is really good, and swims much better, like the Mario 3 Frog Suit. Neither actually do all that much for me, despite my love for penguins. It is noticeably funny how in the initial cutscene, the explanation for these items being out in the wild is they were originally gifts for Peach, but after her capture they shoot the lot of them out of cannons, dispersing them throughout the Mushroom Kingdom, which I thought was really silly. And for the most part, items are just used to make platforming easier, but occasionally they are required to get specific star coins. Which leads me to the most annoying type of star coin, the Mario better not have gotten hit earlier kind. Sometimes Mario needs to freeze an enemy to reach a coin. Sometimes Mario needs to fly up to get a coin. All of the time it was annoying when I got there and realized I would have to replay the level. Other varieties of this are realizing Mario missed one because he jumped too high, entered a pipe too soon, entered the wrong door. These especially suck with the auto-scrolling levels. Replaying these are a true slog. Honestly, most of my complaints from this game stem from being a completionist. If I didn't need to get all the star coins, the levels would be a lot more fun. Luckily though, the rest of the star coins are actually well done. I love needing to time my jump on a Koopa just right, or learning to look for the suspicious walls that Mario can actually walk through. Maybe there are a few too many suspicious walls, but at least most of them are apparent enough. Sort of item, sort of level gimmick is the reintroduction of Yoshi. There are a handful of levels where Yoshi can pop up from item blocks. He controls as expected, can hover in the air for a short while, can eat most enemies, and gobble up fruit he runs into. If enough fruit is eaten, he pops out an egg that usually gives an item. However, Yoshi cannot be taken outside the level he's found in, which is kind of a bummer. As for bosses, there's almost nothing notable. The Bowser Jr. fights are all pretty good, using some iteration on the clown car to have a neat interaction. And the final Kaiju Bowser fight, where Mario has to run away and dodge fireballs, is pretty fun. Everything else is just jumping on the Koopalings and waiting for them to come out of their shell. None stuck out except for Wendy's castle fight, where Mario has to wait for water to drain out before Wendy becomes hittable, and I died way too many times on it and it was infuriating. Aside from coins, occasionally there are a few secret exits. These are just as frustrating as a new Super Mario Bros. With the exception that I think all ghost houses have 2 exits, the only way to tell there's a secret exit is by paying close attention to the map, and I do not like that. There's one especially egregious one in World 7, where I could hardly even tell. I just happened to remember from my previous playthroughs that there was a secret exit there. It is entirely not visible during the map beforehand. Going back, it sounds kind of like I have a lot of complaints, which is valid because so much of my playtime I found myself more frustrated than anything. And I think this is largely due to the levels just being too long. The DS game had the benefit of needing smaller levels to fit on a cartridge, and a lot of the Wii levels felt a bit bloated. This is also why World 9 is the best. Each level is short enough to not need a halfway flagpole. So needless to say, this game probably won't end up too high in my overall rankings. I didn't even mention the music, which is mostly just derivative of the DS game, and oftentimes music is my favorite part. So there's okay music, no especially great levels, too many frustrating levels, a lot of star coins that were not hidden well, and nothing especially innovative. It's not like the game is bad, but it's just bland. My new ranking for 2D Mario games is 9. Super Mario Bros. 2 The Lost Levels, 8. Super Mario Land, 7. New Super Mario Bros. Wii, 6. Super Mario Land 2, 5. Super Mario Bros. 2 USA, 4. New Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 3, and 1 Super Mario World. It feels weird putting this down so low, but at least Mario Land 2 was doing something interesting. Wii is just more of the same. Oh boy, I'm not excited to see where New Super Mario Bros. 2 winds up. But first, we are once again heading to space with a game I have not played in a very long time, but I'm really excited to see if it holds up. I remember liking it better than the first one, and I cannot wait to play Super Mario Galaxy 2. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, maybe leave a rating or sub to be notified of more. While you're down there, you can check the description for all of my socials where I'm at Mario8th everywhere. I'm on Twitter, Tumblr, and you can see what games I'm playing on ggApp.io. Also in the description is the playlist that every Mario in Review video will eventually be in. And if you'd like, let me know what your personal Mario ranking is in the comment section. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.